welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. As we continue with the Capture, Curate, Share series, and this part of the series is about building your PLN or PLC. So PLN, your Professional Learning Network, or your PLC, Professional Learning Community. And I think back in the day, PLC was the moniker, and it's kind of morphed into PLN as we network a little bit more with social networking. But both of them are still pretty good. Still the same concept. It's about people getting together and communicating, collaborating, and all that kind of good stuff, especially teachers. And that's what we need. So, it's difficult when you're in a classroom all day long and you've got little kids all day that you speak to, where you kind of need that adult time and professional time to speak to your colleagues. And I think that's important. And if we don't speak to them, how else can we collaborate with them? What are the technology components that we can use to enhance that collaboration, not to supplant it, but to supplement it? So today we have a very amazing guest with us. James Davis is with us all the way from Manchester, UK. And
yeah, that's right.
Hey, what's James going to do from Manchester, UK? We're in the US, but he's going to talk to us about a very amazing tool that they use called Wakelet. And he's going to explain what Wakelet is. And I think in previous shows, we kind of dug down into Wakelet a little bit, but he's really going to talk to us about collaboration, how to use Wakelet as a tool to communicate with your staff, with your friends, with your family, with the kiddos in your class, and just have a great community. James is amazing. James has been to the States multiple times, different conferences, different school districts, which is unique. So seldom do you see, big time organizations like this go into school districts, and that's their focus. So they make it a point to go visit schools, talk to teachers, even do presentations in the classroom with kids. I've never seen that before. So that's amazing how that team just does that, and they work with teachers on doing stuff versus just kind of putting a product out there. So we are just so pleased to have James with us. And they've been to ISTE a few times, various conferences from California to Kentucky to Illinois to Pennsylvania to New York, all over, and Florida, even all the way down to South Florida. And so we'll talk a little bit about that today. And don't let me forget the great state of Georgia as well, Texas, and everything in between, Ohio. It's just so many states. They're worldwide, international, but they make it a point to work with the teachers here in the U.S. as well. So, James, if you could just give us an introduction about yourself, your team, who y'all are, what you do, how amazing you are. And look, this is not going to disappoint. I am just so excited. I'm just so excited. Go ahead, James. Don't let me hype it too much, James.
I know.
James is a good dude.
You did a great intro for me there, Randall. But hello, everyone. As Randall said, I'm James, head of community here at Wakelet. We are a curation platform, but as Randall's mentioned there, we try to be much more than a platform. We are a great tool that allows you to organize and collaborate with each other. But as you can see in my title, community is what I do every single day. We have a team here that focus on bringing people together. And again, as mentioned, we do try and get on the ground. We do want to hear your feedback. We do want to hear how this tool, this platform can benefit you, but not only yourself, but your students and the people around you as well. So yeah, we do our very, very best to connect people, to get that network growing, to help people engage their communities. And we'll show you all of that today. But as mentioned, yeah, I'm sat in the UK right now, Manchester, UK. I've not got that Kentucky accent, as you can probably tell. So I'm born and raised here in Manchester, England. But yeah, we do our very best to support our educators and students all around the world. Wakelet's in 120 countries, all of the states in the United States of America. And we are up at all hours doing stuff like this, webinars, training sessions. If you reach out and need any questions answering, myself and the team are here to support you. So yeah, we're always here for the community, for educators. We know how hard you guys work. We want to make it even easier for you to kind of work and connect with everyone around you.
Absolutely. And I think that's what Wakelet is all about. So James, if you can just give us a little bit more information about Wakelet itself, the platform, how folks can use it for some of our new listeners who aren't aware about Wakelet. And if you could, before you do that, just explain to us this concept of curation. That's been like a new concept the last 5 years or so, and it's gaining a lot of traction. So if you could just kind of explain to folks what this curation concept is. Like this show itself is called Capture, Curate, Share. So what is curate and what is that?
Yeah, so actually, funnily enough, we were speaking the other day about this in another session, how the word curate has become such a kind of a keyword or a buzzword, because not too long ago, and even myself, I'll admit, I didn't know what the word curate was. I was like, do you mean create? And like, no, curate, we're a curation platform. So yeah, and I only heard of it really when I thought about it at like art exhibitions where artists and people would curate together artifacts and showcase them. So yeah, that's essentially what Wakelet does. We allow you to curate, to organize all these little bits that are around. You pick the best bits about yourself or the topic or the subject that you're teaching, and you bring them into our tool Wakelet. So you organize them all in a really neat way, however you like, put your own spin on it, your own creativeness on it as well, and then you can go ahead and share that out to whoever you like. But yeah, curate
So
is definitely a new word.
yeah, so like when I take 25 selfies and I pick the best 3.
There you go.
So that's curation, right? And I've got 5 selfies, have my eyes closed, I'm not looking in the right way. So I just want to pick the best version of me, or
yes,
whatever I perceive to be the best version of me, right? So the best version of me might be my eyes closed. I don't know. But it's up to you. It's whatever you believe is the best version of the topic that you're exploring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we work at Wakelet. We're obviously mainly in education. We have educators using it for portfolios to showcase themselves. We have students doing the same for portfolios, or in your lesson, you want to create the best bits about that lesson or subjects. But even professionally, we have athletes and sports teams that if you search their name or their team into Google or Bing, you'll have millions of results. So what they like to do with Wakelet is create those best bits and put it into Wakelet as well, because amongst all that noise, those millions of pieces of content, there is those best bits that they want to showcase right at the top of their profile, really.
Oh, that is awesome. And I'm going to share something with you real quick. And that's all part of the sharing process here, based on what you just said. And let's screen share. So here's an example, for instance. So like James said, you even have athletes who are curating or putting together their profiles, right? And here is my own personal collections, obviously. And I have a collection of my daughter's track experience. And I can go back to 2021 and see all of her information and her times and her pictures and her videos. I think I have the videos in there. Yep. So you got videos in there, which are either through Google Drive or I started using Flip to put those videos in there. But that's a good way to kind of make a collection. So this is from freshman year, and she's a junior now. So then I have her sophomore collection. And this is like the stuff that could just get lost in time if you don't curate it or put it all together and hold on to it. And then here are the flip videos of each meet or each race that she ran. And so now I have a chronological order of all of her experiences. So is that like a way that schools or teachers are using it?
Yeah, exactly that. Whether they're a student athlete or just looking to kind of showcase themselves to universities and colleges. And like I said, even educators using it as a portfolio, because educators are doing so many great things, whether it's in school or in the district or even outside at conferences, whether it's presenting or just attending. There's so much information out there that you want to capture. So you just go ahead with Wakelet, save it in one click, save it all down. And then that curation element is really important for them in the platform to organize those best bits into different topics that we call collections. And then, do you know what? It doesn't stop there. You then share it with each other, with your colleagues, with your students, with your friends and family as well. So yeah, and another part to kind of add to that is with the portfolio aspect with we see students, educators, districts do, is it's the evidence piece. Because with a CV or resume, you can say that you run track, you can say that you play the flute or the violin, and you do it for how many years, but the evidence piece in those collections, as Randall showed there, the evidence takes it beyond just the words on a page. And that actually helps them stand out from the crowd, really, with all the evidence. Like Randall said, it'll be missed if it's on Twitter or those results from a race. you're running tens of races a year. So after a few years, you forget about them. But when you go back, everything's there, evidence-based, and then you again then can curate that into a further collection as well.
Yeah, and it's one of those where, you kind of think about it. You're like, well, what do I do with this three-ring binder or this poster board presentation that I've done as a student? Then the next thing you know, it ends up in the trash somewhere, or maybe it goes to mom's basement in the crawl space somewhere, and it just kind of gets lost in time versus having it archived in this format where you can continue to share it, and it's constantly living for others to view as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I remember having a free ring binder at school as well, a big binder full of my certificates and projects and pages. And I have no clue where that is right now. So if I had Wakelet, I'd have it right now, and I could show that to Wakelet, other employers, other colleges, and so on.
Absolutely. And I'm looking up one more here, I think, and this is exactly what you were talking about. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm going to pull this one up for our audience as well. And let's see here. This is an oldie but goodie, I think. So let me share it real quick for the audience. And I'm going to hit present share. You gotta love this. So I have this series called Inside the Walls of Detroit Central High School. And this was all the way back in 2011. So it's 2023 now. So this goes all the way back to 2011. And I did some work with Detroit Public Schools to help the city revive and regenerate the educational program and so forth. But we were able to capture all of the practices in action. And these links are all to videos or pictures. And this was a math class. And so you can kind of just go through all the way back to 2011. And here's an instructional strategy. We taught them about T-charts, right? And using Marzano 9 kind of stuff. So it goes all the way back, and we can use this as a evidence-based tool for any school district, any other school that's interested in getting the results that this school got. They were the first school out of priority status and state takeover in the state of Michigan, and performed at a very high level from there. So the question was always, well, how did they do it? What happened? What caused this? So there's the evidence that they can go back into, and even, up until 2011. And it's great just to share back out with those former teachers, because they're like, wow, I can't believe we did all that back in the day. So it's almost like their digital scrapbook. Their Pinterest on steroids is what I call it. And they absolutely love it.
That's awesome.
So James, tell us a little bit more about how we can use community and collaboration. So let's start off with community, right? So you guys have this unique feature in the summer called Community Week.
We do.
So tell us a little bit about Community Week, what the concept's all about, why you guys have it, and what are the benefits for educators when they join your Community Week.
Yeah, so Community Week really is a virtual conference that basically is at the end of the school years in June, and it's there to celebrate everything you've done that year, really, as an educator, as a tech coach, as a librarian, an admin, principal, even as a student. And we get together for a week. It usually is the first week of June, and we just showcase the best bits and celebrate what everyone's done using Wakelet. So we'll have sessions from ambassadors and educators using Wakelet for collaboration with teams, student projects, and then we'll also have some keynotes as well. So maybe it's been a tough year, maybe something's risen to the top, like at the minute, ChatGPT and AI is like a hot topic. We'll always bring out those topics as well and basically provide a free keynote session or a couple of them for you to access as well. But with that being said, that's just a virtual conference. What we like to do is actually bring the community into it. So not only is the community presenting, the community decides on the topics, but during the week as well, there's networking, there's competitions, there's prizes. And the best one of them all really is the networking. We allow kind of these quick speed dating elements where you can jump on for 2 to 5 minutes, meet with any educator from around the world in over 120 countries. And we have some question prompts, but really you're just there to connect, whether you're reflecting on the year, whether you're giving each other techniques, passing each other details and connecting to speak further, to connect your classes in the future. That's exactly what it's for. It's there for you to meet other people just like yourself. You may think you're the only person in the world going through this problem or this issue in your class, or who's done this thing. Well, people want to hear about it. People want to share those trials and tribulations with each other. So that's what the community is there to do. It's kind of a support network for you to not only share your knowledge and learning, but learn from others as well. And like I said, when you're talking 120 different countries and the 50 states of the USA, there is so much to learn from each other, and friendships to be made.
That's a fantastic blueprint, to say the least, because as I'm thinking about a school district, right? The one thing that we find is that kids, when they're in the classroom, teachers are often trying to provide instruction. So you have to pay attention to what's happening on the board or what's happening on the computer screen or whatever the instruction is. And then you have to practice it. So then you end up practicing it. And by the time you look up as a kid, time is up and you have to move on to your next class. And usually you'll get some kids that are kind of active in the class, maybe I'll call it. And the teacher has to say, shh, shh, such and such is trying to learn, or shh, shh, I'm trying to teach, right? So we're constantly shushing the kids. But what you're saying is you can provide some kind of a community aspect in your school. And just imagine in your regular schedule, if your school decides, okay, we're going to do an assembly schedule. Most schools have an assembly schedule, meaning at the end of the day or in the middle of the day, they have the whole school comes to the gymnasium or auditorium for an assembly. That's just typical practice in the US. So now you use your assembly schedule to do a virtual speed dating, connecting, team building, or PLC, PLN at the student level. So every student across the entire building can now digitally connect to other kids during that half-hour time frame and make them feel as if they belong to something bigger than themselves. So you kind of get out of that isolation and you allow kids to kind of talk to each other, work things out or connect or figure things out. Hey, what club are you in? What sport do you play? What books are you reading? What are you interested in? What projects do you have coming up? So that kind of conversation that's outside of just that singular classroom of 30 kids. So now you can go building wide. So you guys just laid a fantastic blueprint that any school district out there can use, that any school could use. And as we're talking about social emotional learning, SEL, and the one thing that we've said all the time is kids are starving to talk to each other, to connect. And with the pandemic being over or weaning down, everybody's heavy into the content, trying to get back into the flow of school. And the kids are struggling because they don't know how to talk to each other because they've been isolated for so long. And I hear that all of the time. So you guys just introduced a great solution. So if you can get people from 120 countries to talk and engage, I think this might be a tool that you use at United Nations. I mean, we'll solve all the world's problems with this.
There you go.
I think you guys are onto something.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, it's a fantastic conference that we put on, and like I say, to take things out of that you can do anywhere. Like even if you're talking about, for us, it's the community decide the topics. That's student choice, student voice, right? That if you want your students to connect, how about allowing them to decide what they connect about, what questions they ask, and even from community, we've seen beyond in the classroom, classrooms connect with each other as well. So not only other classrooms in their school and district, but even across the world to learn about other people's cultures, what they like to do, eat, drink, see what sites they have. Not only talking about their own state and their own country, but actually learning from others as well. And then that also starts a conversation in the classroom as well. So it's not just you connect with a class and you forget about it. It carries on and you can carry that as a project and everyone can kind of intertwine and connect with each other.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed, even in the great state of Kentucky and in the Commonwealth, they have co-ops that work in each county, and they are so collaborative with each other. And this adds another layer in there for them to create different experiences, whether it's from the eastern part of the state all the way to the western, to the northern, to the southern part of the state. And their mindset is already there to collaborate and work together. This will only enhance that and fortify what they're trying to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love the concept. So tell us a little bit more about Community Week. What kind of tools are typically involved in that that you guys typically use or see?
Yeah, so I'll actually go ahead and just share an example of last year, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Let me pull that up. Then maybe can you see this?
Sure can. Let me add it in.
Perfect. Nice. Can you see that?
Yep, all good to go.
Perfect. So yeah, so this is the blueprint for this year that we're currently planning right now. But this is the page that we had for Community Week 2022. As you can see here, inside of Wakelet, everything has been captured, it's been curated, and then shared out as well. So not only did we put on a great conference for June 2022, this can be relived now. Anyone can go into any of these sessions and continue learning, whether it's getting the most out of Wakelet in your classroom or learn about being an educator who likes to curate. So you can see inside of here, each one we have it on YouTube. So we actually use StreamYard to share it to YouTube. So you can go ahead and just rewatch this right now. Some great speakers inside of here as well. And then below, as you'd expect, we have all the resources in there too. So everything that was shared, whether it's on Mentimeter, Google Slides, you name it, our guests, our presenters, their Twitter, their blogs, everything you need is just here in one place. You can see that we had a live stream, a 12-hour live stream, talking about that worldwide aspect of Wakelet. For a whole 12 hours, we did a stream where we had, I think it was over 36 speakers from over 20 different countries, all sharing how they use Wakelet. And you can see all the scenes are in here, all the sections. And again, you can go back and watch these at any point. All of them talking about Wakelet, how they used it. And like I said, it's here to be seen. Everything that you need is in one place. So feel free to jump onto this. It's wakelet.com/@communityweek2022. But again, just as Randall's saying that, for a blueprint, imagine this is your, I don't know, your STEM fair or your science fair or a student project that you're doing. Everyone's doing the projects. Have them present maybe with Flip or a YouTube video, and then even add their presentations and their workings out and their kind of projects as a whole inside this collection, so that then they can take it with them as well and present on it too. So this was a really neat way for us to just capture everything in one place for Community Week. And you know, us at Wakelet here, we like to add a nice theme to it. So this is all around movie themed. So we wanted our community to be the stars of the show and really showcase themselves on the stage of Wakelet. So this is what we put on. This is what we'll do every single year, and we'll continue to do it week in, week out as well, to showcase our community and the educators that have stuff to share. We know that everyone has stuff to share. And Randall, I know this is one of your favorite sayings too. Sharing is caring. We want to make sure that everyone's caring for each other. Everyone's sharing that information with each other.
That's right. So just in just that scenario itself, every team out there that has a PLC in their building can now organize their PLC that way. And you can have conversations for that first week in January or second week in January, whenever your PLC is. And then everybody goes in and puts resources in there and collaborate through their Wakelet collection. And now you can have all year long, every month, or bi-weekly, however your PLC is structured, you can have a collection of everything that happened in your PLC throughout that time. You can put your data in there. You can, so it's just a cross section of things. And if you find amazing resources on YouTube or any place like that, you just put it in there. And I know PLCs focus a lot on instruction. So what instruction are we trying to really get after in the classroom or with our scholars? And now you can put those instructional tools and strategies in there as well. So it's a quick click place. And then, just from me, it's always wise to work smarter, not harder. And so you share this link with your admin team, And, this is what we do in our PLCs. Because typically what happens is you have to create these documents and fill out stuff and then present it or share it with your admin team or a district liaison about what's going on. And usually, admin team, something comes up. They're super busy, so they have to reschedule. A district liaison, somebody's out, and they have to cover somewhere else in another part of the district, and they have to reschedule. But with this, is anytime, anywhere access. You just share the link, and they can view it from the comfort of their office or wherever they are, or you can view it together and have a watch party if you want. So it's so many different ways of doing it, but it's fun and interactive versus just a stagnant, flat piece of paper you put in a 3-ring binder. And the truth of the matter is, nobody looks at the binder. In education, I wonder often, how many 3-ring binders have we used, and where do we store them all? Is there like a big worldwide storage facility for 3-ring binders? Because they just seem to disappear at the end of the year. Nobody knows where they go, what happens to them. We all submit them to somebody, but we don't know where they go after that. So this is totally different, and I totally love it. So kudos to you, James, and the staff for creating something like this. And then let's continue on now. So when we talk about community, the one part that I really like is the collaboration feature inside of Wakelet, and big shout out to as we call him around the Wakelet office, young Callum. So big shout out to our man. He really brought the heat when he came up with the concept and idea of collaboration, and he owns it. And we're gonna put it on him, man. He's a great dude, and we really appreciate his thoughts and foresight way before the pandemic even came along. That collaboration will be important and critical, and it actually helped carry us through the pandemic, and now it's propelling us into the next century of learning. So if you could just give us some information about what the Wakelet collaboration is all about and how that works, and how,
of course,
at the PLC levels, it's definitely something else.
Yeah, definitely. I can share that as well now with a few other little features too. So I'll share my screen again. But this is one thing that came up a lot, as Randall said right at the start. I spent a lot of the months in 2022 traveling the US and going to different school districts and making sure that people kind of understood what Wakelet was. And one of the main things that came out of the meetings that I had with these admin teams and when I talk about PLCs is that they needed a place to collaborate and be all on one page. So this is an example that my colleague Ryan up in Pennsylvania created. Basically, I've heard one on the grapevine is faculty meetings aren't the most exciting things to attend because most of the time not everyone's on the same page, and maybe there's so much going on anyway, they feel like they don't have time. So this allows you to kind of do a faculty meeting asynchronous, so anyone can use it at any single time. And that one page that everyone needs to be on is now Wakelet. So everyone's on one page right now on Wakelet. You can record or share the video of the meeting, or even beforehand to say what the agenda actually is. You can drop it in text form if you wanted to, and even add in the important dates of what everyone needs to kind of, too long didn't read. What is the kind of 3 main points you want to get out of this meeting? And then as well, those links that may get lost, that may get shown and presented on during the meeting, you can go ahead and add them inside of here. And then even during the meeting, we have questions as well. So everyone can actually jump into this, add their own links and add their own questions within that faculty meeting or before and afterwards as well. And as Randall says, that then stays with you and the team that are in that meeting throughout the entire year and beyond. So what I'm going to do is going to show you firstly with this amazing template. You can go ahead and just copy this template and use it yourself. So you go to copy to here. You go ahead and copy this. I'm going to call it faculty meeting. Let's go KYF Kentucky. Copy that down. And inside my home area now, I should see, there it is, my faculty meeting. I'll show you that you can edit these. So again, if you want to add in the agenda, you can go ahead and edit this. You can say today's agenda and set some bullet points out if you wanted to, or some numbers. There we go. So you can see the idea there. Again, drop those important dates in. So you can say date 1. Let's go with 10th of April. There we go. We can put in the others if we wanted to, but let's go with that. And then again, links as well. Go ahead and add in any link, any document with Google Drive, OneDrive, add them in there. And again, that's questions to everyone else. So what you would do is either before the meeting, during, or afterwards is completely up to you. You go ahead and share this collection around with your team. So you're not going to share it for them to view. You're going to actually copy this link to invite them. So if I click copy there, if I send this link out to anyone, they'll be able to jump in this collection and collaborate right now. So this is what will it look like for your team. All they need to do is enter their name if they don't have an account, and then bam, they're inside that collection. So they're in the meeting, the faculty meeting collection. They cannot edit anything or delete it, but they can add. So they can see the entire agenda, those important dates you want everyone to look at, those links that you shared already, and then they can go ahead and add in some other links they wanted to, or again, go ahead and add in some questions. So in the links area here, they can go ahead and add in, again, could be anything, but I'm just going to add in Google for now, just to give you an idea. Add it in, and your link would be there. You can then edit your own link to say, I don't know, please can we discuss this year's calendar? There we go. Change the image if you wanted to. Really, really up to you what you want to go ahead and add. I'm just showing you here how you can actually change the narrative of the link. And then again, in the questions as well. So you can say, can we discuss X, Y, and Z? Or and Z, should I say. There we go. So as you can see there, everyone can jump inside of here and kind of all collaborate together. And again, this now stays with you. So if I go back to my original collection here, I'll be able to see who's joined. So if I go into my share panel, under the collaboration, I can see I've had one collaborator so far. Of course, you'll have many more than one. It's James D. Inside of here, I can choose to remove James if he's adding the wrong type of content, or I can actually allow James to be an editor as well. So having like multiple editors on the same topic. And again, if I scroll down under each bit of content that someone else has added, you'll see their name. So you may see James, Randall, Ryan, John, whoever's added it, you will see it there. So it's a great way of being on the same page. Everyone can collaborate, but you can also, and everyone collaborating can also see who's added what as well. So it's a very safe and secure way of collaborating with your team. And again, that main thing of being on the same page, how amazing would this be? At the end of every meeting, you have this for everyone to kind of look at, kind of take with them, put into action what you've said, and then even kind of look at this at the next meeting as well to then kind of build upon. So that collaboration feature is a game changer for any sort of faculty meeting. So if you want to go ahead and try it out, it's under that share button, go ahead and collaborate.
Excellent, excellent. And we'll also throw that link in to the YouTube channel at the end of the session. So it should be in the notes there somewhere. So all of these resources we'll have in there. And we also have a dedicated Wakelet page of collections of all of the videos from the series. And so that will also be in part of the resources as well. And so I have one here, James, and this was from, let's see, this was from a couple of years ago. So I'm going to share so we can see. I have one here from Kentucky. And this one is from Jefferson County. And they have a PLC process as well. And so one of the things that we worked with the admin team on is creating that PLC evidence-based portfolio at their school. And so it kind of gives us a heads up as to what's in their PLC or what's happening. And so we gave them some very clear directions about how to copy a collection and that kind of stuff. And they have their 4 pillars of PLCs that kind of drive their PLC process. And the first pillar is to create short-term SMART goals as champions, right? And so with that, they put their evidence in about their short-term SMART goals. So, they went and they kind of put their text in there or put a document in there documenting their short-term goals in progress, what's going on with their math goals. So each class or content area usually has specific goals that they have in mind. And so they were able to really insert those. And then their second pillar is the plan for teaching. So what does our framework look like How do we know if students learned, right? So now they have some more text in there, some YouTube videos that they have of their kids in action or in their school. So they have all of the details in there. Then they have their schedule document of what their PLC schedule looks like and what they're discussing. They also have like a student hub with their live ceremony for promotion from 8th grade. And I do believe these kiddos are now juniors in high school or sophomores or juniors in high school. But it's pretty cool for them to go back and look at themselves at the 8th grade promotion ceremony. And then the third component is the PLC framework is how do we know if students learn? So they're working on create formative assessments. So what are the assessment tools that we're using? And here is evidence about their assessment tools. And they also give some details about their assessment tools there. And then here is their Google Docs that has a spreadsheet of all of their assessment tools with their MTSS process that they use and the data that they use. So this is really cool and really rich. And then here's like a formative assessment with their Google Doc that a teacher used as another piece of evidence. And then how do we respond when students learn or do not learn is their fourth pillar. And so it shows their intervention schedules, the letter that they send home for summer learning or summer school, what their MTSS Tier 3 schedule looks like. So they created a schedule for Tier 3. And we did an MTSS component at the very beginning of the year. Kind of talked about that in this Capture, Curate, Share series. And then some of the wins and the lessons learned and so forth. So this is very rich and very detailed, using the template for their PLCs. And Jefferson County Public Schools doing an absolute amazing job with their leadership team and their teachers in their building, all working together on their PLC and documenting the process in action, which is critical. So that's just kind of an example of the power of Wakelet with the PLC process, in addition to the template that James shared with us for the day-to-day or week-to-week staff meetings. And I think it's just amazing how we can leverage this to create something that's good for schools, and you're actually doing less and getting more results. How crazy is that?
Yeah, I think it's amazing that it's something you're already doing. So it's like you said, it's making that process much more efficient. You're going to have the meeting anyway. You're going to be talking about the same projects and goals and reflections. But looking at your example there, how neat and tidy and great is it not only to look at now, but also when you come back in a year's time or those sophomores come back and have a look, it's so easy to navigate. Everything that they want to see is right there.
Yeah. And I think that the most interesting part, and I'll share it again, is just for context so that folks understand the context. And most people out there who are watching this, they understand it. Inside of a school, multiple things happen. A new principal comes in, or teachers retire, and new teachers are hired. Families, the kids don't stay with us forever. So they move from middle school to high school, which is the process. And then I think the most interesting part is this school specifically, this principal has become got promoted to go to a new school this year for 2023-24. So she's going to open up a new school, but she will have evidence about what a awesome, high functioning PLC process looks like to share with her new staff when they come in, so they can hit the ground running and not have to feel like they have to recreate stuff and start all the way from scratch again as a new building. And then it takes 3 or 4 years to kind of get their legs under them. They already have the template. They have the examples as to what high quality looks like, and then they can go from there. And I think that's what schools want. They want those key indicators that shows, okay, you're on the right track. This is reaffirming what you're doing as an organization. Sometimes we waver a little bit because we think we're not on the right track. Because, as educators, we want everything to be perfect all the time. And so it causes some consternation when things go a little sideways or there's a hiccup in the process. But this really just kind of gives us those guardrails of reassurance that we can be on the right track. So James, and we're going to wrap up here in a little bit. We got a little bit of time
Mhm.
left, but there's something really big that I want you to kind of dig into for us. And I know, me as a single teacher, or as a admin, or as a leader, I can use Wakelet, and it's totally free. You can go in and you can curate all your stuff.
Mhm.
But over time, what we found folks are saying is they want more of a connected Wakelet. um, and we don't want the single wave, we want multiple waves that are connected, right? So
Mhm.
the way I think about it is, if you're standing at the outer banks at the beach shore and you're watching a wave, you can see that wave at your feet, which is
Mhm.
pretty cool. But when you look a mile down the ocean line, you can see multiple waves all cascading together.
Mhm.
And that's the long view. And so I think from a PLC perspective, yes, it's cool if I'm one teacher and I'm curating my stuff. But what if we have multiple teachers in our school, across our district, multiple artifacts, all of that stuff? It's going to be hard to manage because you have multiple people who are sick, family situations, moving on to new jobs, whatever it is. How can Wakelet help us corral some of this to make it seamless?
Yeah, well, that's the next step in Wakelet's journey as well. And I'll share my screen again. That's okay.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, so we've seen over the years the way it's been going that we have a lot of teachers using Wakelet. We have a lot of principals using Wakelet, librarians, and yes, they can use it as teams and with each other. But one thing we're looking at right now is bringing that community aspect, that collaboration aspect, the curation aspect, really, and all those skills involved in it into your entire school and your entire school district as well. So this is something that's very, very recent in the last year. We have new features that come in with it. For example, activities that basically allow you to assign a collection to students. So each student will have their own version of that collection to kind of play around with and submit back to you. And then this is what we're kind of talking with kind of bringing that district together. We have a district dashboard where admins, principals can actually oversee how everyone's sharing, who needs a bit of help, who's collaborating with each other, and actually look at the insights and analytics on that as well. So if you're looking to see students, not only kind of at the end of the assessment, but kind of during as they're building that portfolio, how many hours are they putting into it? What what type what time of day are they using it? What type of sources are they using? And you can kind of analyze and track the student progress throughout the year as well. So that is something that we're working on right now. It's something that is available. You can see kind of a few of the features there as well. But essentially, it is bringing the full power of Wakelet across your district to collaborate better, to communicate better as a team, and also as a community as well. And that community involves students, educators, admin staff, parents, you name it. It's an entire community. So again, that'll be dropped into the link description so you can check that out as well. Wakelet for your entire school district.
All right. So if I'm a school district out there and we have PLCs
Mhm.
all the way across the district, right?
Mhm.
It's difficult for somebody in central office, a principal, or even a department head to figure out what do we need as a team as far as resources, where do we need help, what resources do we need, how do we get those resources, and so forth. And with the Wakelet district-wide approach now, um, you can basically see the entire district of PLCs in action. And
Mhm.
based on the data, the principal or department head or even the team itself can say, okay, here are our trends in our Wakelet, and these are the resources that we keep sharing with each other. And here are our strengths and our weaknesses. So you can do like a SWOT, right? It's a strengths,
Mhm.
weakness, opportunities, and threats,
Mhm.
using Wakelet now as a district-wide approach. And now you can really start focusing in and honing in on data to help give people the resources that they want and need, versus just throwing resources out there that people might say, hey, we didn't even ask for this. We don't even need it. Why are they doing this? We're spending money on stuff that we didn't even have a say in. Or,
Mhm.
I'm not making this stuff up. This really happens in schools sometimes, right? And that's
Mhm.
what happens when you get into large districts, small districts. It doesn't matter. But everybody has good intent. We want to help,
Mhm.
so we're going to provide resources, but we might not provide accurate resources. So what Wakelet is doing is it helps us create those guardrails to get very unique resources that people want and need versus resources that are just put out there and available and never gets used. So it's really a good process, I think, to really get that PLC program up and running. And when you have a high functioning PLC, it also allows you to capture what a high functioning PLC looks like and how you can replicate it or amplify it, not just within your building, but across your district. And you don't necessarily have to follow that blueprint step by step because every school is different. So schools will see it and they say, oh, yeah, we like that process. We can do that. We can augment it. Or they can say, hey, that's a great process. They got real big results, but we can't. We don't have the resources or the technical skills to do that. We'll put that on the back burner for another day. But we don't want people thinking that we're not doing anything. So now you're kind of showing folks that, hey, these are our strengths, these are our weaknesses, and we're going to rock with it and make it the best that we can with what we got and the kids that we have and the community that we have. So I think Wakelet has really created a justification tool for engagement. I think Wakelet has really created an amazing experience for teachers. So now you're working smarter and not harder. You know, you can actually sit back and take a deep breath, and kind of relax a little bit versus constantly having to turn in 3-ring binders and reports and all this other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want to continue to do here at Wakelet as well, whether it's allowing you the analytics and insights and data to make that curation decision easier and for you as well. And then going forward with new features and stuff, we want you to be able to find content as well, not kind of start from scratch. That capture can be your own experiences, but also learning from other people. As Randall's saying there's multiple PLCs already going on. What are their strengths that you can kind of copy? What are their weaknesses that you can improve on? And we kind of see it as like this big digital library. Everyone has a library in their school or in their town. Why not have a digital library where you can kind of pick up someone's artifacts and something they've done in their PLC and learn from them and grow from them and then leave something behind for another PLC to pick up?
Yeah, and if you're a school district and you're looking at this district plan, you are absolutely getting into this whole concept of equity, right? So you are providing equitable access to everybody across your district, and at different levels. So folks can choose at different levels how they want to engage, but they have equitable access. And the way I think about it is, and James, this might be before your time, and I'm pretty sure it was before your time. So when we were kids, you had it made if you had an encyclopedia set in your bedroom. So we didn't have computers or anything like that, but you had to look everything up in the encyclopedia. So if you had I think it was like 26 volumes of encyclopedias or something. So if you had the encyclopedia set in your bedroom, you can look things up, you can find things. But if you're a kid that didn't have access to an encyclopedia, you were just out of luck. You didn't have information, you didn't have access, none of that stuff. And you really had it made if you were a kid and you had the yellow National Geographic magazine subscription. You were just living it then, right? So it's all about access. And what Wakelet is saying now is we can provide this district level component that will provide equitable access for everybody across the district to curate the bits and pieces that are important to them without judgment. Nobody's going to judge, it's because it's your own personal story, your own personal experience in your building. And you're curating that the way it fits and works for y'all and the results that you want.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone has something to give as well in that story, whether it's your journey or the school's journey, the PLC's journey. Everyone has their own bit to kind of give from it and also learn from as well. So yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do here at Wakelet. Allow those resources to be accessible for everyone, no matter who they are in that district, beyond that as well. Being able to kind of take part and have ownership on not only of their own journey, but also kind of that experience and document it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And to finish this all up is a local Kentucky reference, right? So it's like being a Kentucky Derby. And in the Kentucky Derby, James, there's the infield and then there's the grandstands. So in the grandstand, you see people with fancy hats and the fancy clothes, and they're drinking the mint juleps and all the kind of good stuff, right? And then on the infield, It's the beer, it's the average person that's there enjoying themselves, and so. But it's just different people all in the same venue, having different experiences from different vantage points.
Yeah.
They're all there for the Kentucky Derby, and they're having a great time, however their time is. And so you can just capture, curate, and share that.
Exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of what Wakelet does, right? It's wherever your experiences are and whatever you're enjoying in life, you are capturing that stuff in action and telling a story. And then everybody puts their bits together. We're all at the Kentucky Derby together, just at different venues and different experiences, but we're all there for the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And what a journey and story that would be to document that whole process. And have it there again, not only for you to kind of reflect on, but having others be able to learn from it as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, James. We appreciate everything that you're doing. And how can folks get together with Wakelet? Is there a website, or how do they get started?
Of course, yeah. Just head to wakelet.com. That's where you get started. Completely free to get started on. So go ahead and jump in, dive right in there, join the Wakelet wave, and just get going. There's tons of templates on there. If you need anyone from the team, just contact community@wakelet.com. That is my email with the team. Any question you have, honestly, any suggestions, any bit of worry that you have, please ask us. We're always more than happy to jump on videos and send some support materials across, because we want you to really benefit from the platform, because honestly, it is really beneficial for you and your team. So go ahead, dive in, wakelet.com, and let us know how you get on.
All right, excellent. And one last thing, because I know people always ask, James, tell us a little bit about the Wakelet compliance components. What are you guys complying in, and so forth, with student safety?
Of course, yeah, this is something we've taken really seriously in the last kind of 2-3 years. We are obviously COPPA compliant, FERPA compliant, GDPR, that's the EU. But as a result of GDPR, that makes us compliant for literally anything and everything. We are compliant in all of the states across America. And if your district needs to sign a student privacy agreement, just send it my way, that same email, community@wakelet.com, and we can sign it right away. We have templated versions. We sign it within a couple of days and send it back. There's no real barrier for you and your students to use Wakelet. We made sure of that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you, James. We appreciate you, and I hope everybody goes out there and capture, curate, and share your amazing PLC PLN experience. Thank y'all.
Thank you.